Now, one of the key things um, when it comes to options is it's not like you can go ahead and just dip by here and then you're just correct on direction. Okay. You also need to be correct on volatility and you need to be correct on time. Okay. So when you're buying your option, you need to be correct on volatility first and then time. Now, well, first direction and volatility and then time. So let's say, for example, you're expecting AMC to go up, okay? You're expecting AMC to go up, but you don't know when, okay? Now, if you don't know when it's going to go up, why would you get an option over here that's going to be expiring very soon? Do you think it's going to go up this quickly, that fast? It might. But what if you're wrong and it takes a while, you know? It took us 5 months to get from February all the way to now, okay? Well, actually, all the way to now, okay? It took us 5 months to get here, all right? And longer. Now it's June. About 6 months almost, okay? To get from here to here, all right? Why would you get a lottery ticket that's going to be expiring when you don't know how long this is going to take? You know there's going to be shorting. You know there's going to be problems. Okay, so knowing that, the best options to get would, in my opinion, this is not financial advice. This is only for educational purposes and my strategy. I would assume the best option would be January, or even longer than that, maybe a February 2022 or higher. The reason being is because the Februaries have no time decay. They don't eat at your options. So you could diamond hand this for a whole year. You could diamond hand the whole entire move for a whole year. You know, all the way down. You could diamond hand this for a whole year and not have to worry about time decay. So that eliminates the time aspect on being correct on time because you have a long time. The closer you get to expiration, the harder it is to judge time, okay? Now, when it comes to volatility, there's something called implied volatility. On Thinkorswim, they have a chart here. I'm going to put this as purple. Oh, here, purple, okay? And I'm going to, usually it's a chart. It looks like this underneath, right? Actually, let me just do it like this. It'll say IMP. If you actually were to write that in Thinkorswim as a study, right? It'll say IMP like that. That means implied volatility, okay? That implied volatility study has a little chart, and it goes like that, okay? Comes back down. That drives up like that. Comes back. Well, it didn't. Let me do it again. It went like this. Actually, let me get a little bit lower here. It went like this. Came back down. All right. Then it shot up again right here. Came back down like that. All right. It was around, you got to see numbers here. The highest was 6 so far. Okay. That was the highest. All right. Actually, highest it got was around 6. 6. This drawing sucks. 6. 6. All right. Minus. All right. Well, that's just the indicator. All right. Then it goes down to, 4, right? 4, 3, 3, 2. Let's just say, okay, it was in even numbers, right? And then 1 was down here. All right. 1 being down here. All right. Now, the way I judged implied volatility and how it's low is based on when you're you got to be also dip buying implied volatility because the option contracts are extremely expensive. So back here, when implied volatility was at 600%, right? These contracts on AMC were extremely high. because implied volatility was at 600%. All right. Now, at 400%, which is now, or less than that, between 200 and 400, it's still high. But I wouldn't want to buy when implied volatility is at 400. It was at 400 during the spike to 75, okay? That's when implied volatility was high. So why would I want to buy contracts while this is going up? Because as soon as it pulls back and goes down, you see implied volatility start to fade away. And what happens when implied volatility fades away? Your option contracts decrease quickly and you get crushed. IV crushed here, right here. You get, actually, I'll circle it for you. As soon as you get that pullback, it's volatile at first, right? So your IV is still up. It's still up, okay? So you're like, yeah, okay. I didn't lose that much. But as soon as you get into a consolidation period here, around here, you'll see it starts to get way lower, way lower. It starts to, right towards the end, the implied volatility starts to dip and soak up. It happens like that. It'll come up, it'll spike like that, and then it'll start to drop as soon as you get a consolidation period. If you look at the charts, and I'll show you later how it dropped, okay? So that's one of the things I want to talk about, and the strategy with your options when it comes to stuff like that. Because you can't, it has to be direction, volatility, time. Okay? You want to be correct on time. You want to make sure your options are in the money by a certain period of time. Now, the key thing about time is what type of option you pick. If you pick anything under 90 days, you're going to lose mostly on those options because you don't know. It's like a lottery ticket. If you pick it out of the money, you're most likely not going to be right. If you pick it in the money, you're going to be right. Okay? Now, when you start picking, let's say, a yearly contract, there's more time for you to be correct. And there's less time decay eating your options. Okay? So that's one of the things. The implied volatility, you want to dip buy it. How do I know where to dip buy? I look at the bottom. This is the bottom. This is the previous bottom. All right? Obviously, if we're bullish, we're going to have a higher low. Just like even on implied volatility, we're going to have a higher low. So there was here. This was kind of close. There was only a small gap between here, between this bottom and this bottom right here. Okay? There's only a small gap. So if there was a small gap like that, that's telling me, hey, the only lowest it can go to implied volatility is probably a couple, like 50%. So knowing that, I'm kind of close to where options used to be cheap, and knowing that we're still going to uptrend, that's the perfect time to get a long call and a long put. Because you're thinking, all right, we're going to start heading up. Those are times during consolidation and boring periods to be loading up on those calls and those puts when they're cheap on implied volatility. Now, when they're high in implied volatility, which would be right here, okay? You try to, let's say all right, we're going to have a pullback here, right? We're going to come back down to have a pullback. You don't want to get the put contract right here because you get a put contract, right? Let's say you get a put right here, right? You get a put, I'm going to circle it. You get a put right here, right? At the top because you're expecting it to come back down. The option contracts are still expensive. They're still expensive. Expensive, all right? I had to do that like 3 times. They're still expensive. So the contracts are still expensive. Guess what? Even if it goes down, yeah, you'll make money directionally from the delta, okay? You'll make money directionally, but you're better off getting a freaking 100-share short to protect your position because the implied volatility is still high. So, yeah, you'll make money from the delta, but as soon as you keep holding it there, right? You're not going to make that much because you're only making delta. The implied volatility is still high. So the option contract is